All right, hello everyone. Good to see you here. Paul Trani with a semi-transparent shirt. Going to dive into just sort of mastering line work, which is really important in Illustrator. And luckily for you, I guess, I'm going to give you a quick preview of Illustrator on the iPad, and then we'll transfer over to the desktop. But feel free to say hello. Good to see you here. Ali, Giga, Marcelo, Shaban, Ekaterina, awesome. People from all over. Anaheim in the house. I'm here in beautiful Denver, Colorado. It's sunny out. It's a gorgeous day. It's a good day to be inside working on the computer. All right, but the cool thing is, and this is coming soon, but when you have, let's switch over here, a iPad, and this is coming soon, you'll be able to kind of use Illustrator on the iPad, because that's what I've actually been doing a lot of, just to be honest with you. So I've already kind of created some of this. I can kind of finish this out, and what I'm going to be using on the desktop also are these same tools. Kind of get familiar with it. Good to have you here, Ollie. Anuja, Magda, Victor, Juan. Awesome. So let's dive into this. And again, I typically have just used this pencil, like as I draw, look how it just kind of creates this line, and maybe I can turn off some of that hair. Right? In fact, I'll kind of draw a little bit, zoop, like that, and then I'll pick up that line as well and draw a little bit more. So let me just kind of come in here and continue that line. Also, notice how I have all these various points that we can deal with. We can double tap and then convert that to these Bezier points and start to get these curves just right. But again, like I said, I typically end up using just the pencil, okay? So let's get that like so. Let's kind of continue that down like that. And I don't have to get it perfect right now, but I'm just going to modify this line. So I messed it up on purpose, okay? We get it, Joel. What are you doing? What are you promoting, Joel? Come on now. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here. This is the line I'm working on. Again, just double tapping on each one of those. I don't need that many points, right? Right in here, I can actually remove that point like so. Jumping in here, removing that point as well. So I can kind of get this the way I want it to look. And let's actually work on a little bit of these points right down here. And again, I want to add some. I can add a point right there just by using the pen tool. I don't need an additional tool to add that point, but I'll start to just kind of angle that out like so. And then we'll get this on my desktop, because I don't want to spend a lot of time here, just to be honest with you, but I thought it'd be fun to show just for a quick second. For the nose, we'll jump in, kind of draw that down like that. Let's do the curve on the inside of the nose and then the outside, right? Again, the same goal is to jump in and take these lines and adjust accordingly. Now, let me jump down. I'm not seeing all the comments. Apologize for that. Let's jump down. Boop. There we go. Has it been released yet? It has not. No, we're still working on it. Okay. But the whole idea of being able to remove a point without sort of changing the stroke of the line is the goal. So some of these I'll like kind of have an issue with, right? That we'll clean up on the desktop. But let's just kind of do the lips really fast, still using the pencil, right? Coming in here, zip, zip, zip. Right? I want to change it a little bit. Let's undo that. Let's go back in here and draw like so. Zip, zip. Kind of get the lips going like so. Okay. And guess what? We'll flip those, add a color right in here. Of course, it's going to be red for the lips, and start to modify these individual points. Whether I would have done this with the pencil or just started with the pen, I probably would have actually used the pen in this case, because I'd want to get a little bit more exact, right? But let's just make those lips just like that in this case. Okay, I'm going to move on. Let's hurry up and kind of finish this out. Draw the lower half. When it comes to lips, usually the bottom lip is going to be a little lighter, okay? Because your top lip usually casts a shadow. So you want to have that bottom lip, more light's going to be hitting it, so it's going to be a little bit brighter. So we can adjust it like so, like I'm doing right now. And it's kind of up to me to kind of determine how much detail I want in this whole piece. So that's what we'll do. There it is, right? I can go ahead and send this to my desktop, right? And I'll switch over to my desktop and you can see kind of the version that I actually worked on earlier. Let's go right here. Wait for it. Bam, bam. Damn, there we are. Okay, cool. Good to have you here from Bangladesh. I don't want to auto-choose my lines. Yeah, exactly, Christopher. You don't want to. So this is what we want to do. Like, we don't want to auto-change the lines, right? Like it was doing there a second ago. And that's why I want to talk about these lines. So right in here, even if I wanted to redraw these, let's just go ahead and take these lines. And in this case, I'll just take these two. And I will just make them just a light gray, okay? That's essentially all I'm doing, and I'll add a layer. So if I actually wanted to redraw these, right, the pencil on the desktop, if I double click on the pencil tool, we'll have these options, right? So we can make this as accurate or as smooth as we want. It was doing a lot of redrawing there, to be honest with you. I'll oftentimes do smooth, right? Right in here, we want to keep it selected, and the option key can toggle to the smooth tool, because I'll end up using that a lot, right? Also, edit selected paths, right? That's going to be really helpful, and you can adjust within what range you're editing those pixels. So we'll click OK. You know, we can come in here and we can start to draw. With this set to smooth, I can come in, and even though I'm using a mouse, right, I can draw out that line, and it actually is pretty smooth for the most part. Right, I'm able to draw out that line. Even if I wanted to trace this part, right, I'm gonna have that smooth line like so. Coming back over this way, I can get that smooth line as well. Okay, so that's what I'll typically do. I'll draw with the pencil tool set to smooth, right? And you would get something like this. And let's go back. This is what most of the lines look like. In fact, most of the lines don't even have a rounded cap. Like right in here, what I will typically do is jump in and then round the cap on the end and then round the corners, right? So we're gonna get some nice smooth lines. Another thing I'll do is I'll come in and I just turn this off, but for smoothing out this nose, because we want this to look really elegant, right? We don't want it to look too ridiculous. So I would typically extend this line down for this particular illustration, and I would, for this line, change the width profile right up here at the top, right? So we'll change the width profile to, right down here, width profile 4. Okay, we'll select that. Hello, Mansa from Italy. So, wait, excuse me, from Manisha from India. Sorry about that. Watching from Nepal. So that's what we want. We want these elegant strokes, right? Because I'm kind of doing a, what is it? What is his name? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. The 80s artist that did a lot of these pictures where it's just red lips and black hair. That's ultimately what I'm going for. I can't think of the guy's name and I feel terrible. But we can thicken up that line like we're doing right now. We'll take this one as well. We'll do the same thing, right? We'll make that end pointy like so. Thicken that up like that, okay? So far, so good. Same thing for this line right here. We will change the width profile to slowly get thinner as it goes to this side and increase the size like just a touch, right? So we get more motion right in there. So if I want to go for that look, sorry, I actually already did some of this work, so let's just turn off those eyebrows. But if you're drawing everything the same direction, like I was doing here, I was drawing everything the sort of the length of the eyebrows, like each little hair. Then we can come in and change the width profile. There are times where it actually might not go that direction. And I'll show you. Oh, Patrick Nigel. Oh, thank you so much, Dennis. Patrick Nigel. Thank you so much. His artwork was like really big at the fair. Like if you went to the fair and you know, you could potentially win one of his posters, like a poster of his artwork, which was pretty cool. And this is what it looks like. It was actually more solid colors, right? We have more lines that we can add. Like I had more lines for the eyes, but for his work, you want to go in and start simplifying. And it's like artists say, you know, it's not when there's anything more than you can add, but it's when there's nothing more you can take away. So that's what I did here. It's like I was trying to take away things to make it look better, and already it's looking better. So let's move on, okay? What's up? Greetings from Pakistan. Oh, good to have you here. So this looks pretty good. We have these lips. That looks good, like so. Let's get into this, because I'm actually going to take this hair right here. We have all this hair, right? And for this hair, I'm just going to duplicate it like so. I actually want to make this hair solid. So there's a couple different ways we could do that, okay? Oh, and he did a cover Duran Duran's album. Yes! I love it. That's what I want this to look like. I'm going to make the hair solid. We're going to add a background, and we're just going to learn how to control lines. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to lock down everything else. I'm working with the hair, right? A couple different ways we could do this. I could still use the pencil tool, by the way. And again, I could use the pen too, or as well. But I'm going to select everything. Command A, select all. And we see when we roll over a line, right? This asterisk says, hey, I'm going to be a new line, right? As we see right up here, it'll actually continue that line if I want to, right? I can redraw this line from here if I want to, down like that. So that's how you want to control these lines when you're drawing, especially for this hair. I can continue that line like so. I'll select everything. Maybe I'll kind of have it actually come down. Now I want to connect these two, right? Like this. We'll select everything, right? I'll come to this line and connect the two like that. Bam, connected. Selecting everything. Maybe I want to connect these. Honestly, I'd probably just go zoop, like that, and draw that around and connect it to that one down there, right? Drawing a little bit more, selecting everything. Again, just actually, let's make sure that's like so. And I'm just gonna draw this down and connect it right back there. I'm just making one big unified shape. Another way we could do this is we could actually use the blob brush. Blob brush will allow us to do that as well. I actually wanted the curves to be exact and kind of mirror the hair. That's why I'm actually using this. So I'd connect this like that. I'm gonna do this really fast. Again, just connecting lines because that's in my options for my pencil. Connecting them, zoop, like that, right in like so. And maybe this works for you. Maybe you'll do it a different way. Guess what? That's the great thing about art. I don't know if there's any wrong way, right? I don't know if there's wrong way. I'd say as long as the client is happy, you know, it doesn't really matter how you get it done, right? Again, the blob brush would be another option. The blob brush might be a good option when I start to draw the face, because I'm going to fill this in. It's all going to be black hair, but then we need to worry about her face, which is going to be black unless we do something about it. All right, so let's just go like that. Bring it up. Right, you get it. You get the idea. Let's connect this to there. And here we have like her hair, right? That's how I would connect all those lines, right? All right, so again, just to kind of recap, if you are just joining me, I want to say hello and welcome, and I hope you're well and safe and you're just doing well, that's all. You know, life's stressful. You know, Illustrator shouldn't be, and that's why I like the fact that you have all these options to customize the tools as you click right in here. Again, that's set to smooth, and that's what I was doing, is just keeping it selected and editing those selected paths. So that's the tip there, right? Coming back out, I would do the same thing. We could do the same thing with the hair. Let's take this down here, like that. Guess what? This line right here, let's fill it with white, like so. So that's what we can do right there, and we can add more to it as well. Hello from Panama. Man, I remember when I used to travel for a living. It was so much fun. I remember going to Panama. Actually, I went to Panama just for fun a long time ago because it is a cool place, right? Right up here, we'll just draw this down. Again, I'm just using the pencil because I'm lazy, right? Anytime we have 2 points, and say, for instance, if these weren't connected, by the way, right? So we can come in and I could disconnect them, right? I can go ahead and cut this. Let's take that point. Let's delete it, right? We could always join these 2 points, and that's when you get into a lot of these additional tools under Object, Path. This is going to be your next best friend, taking things to the next level when it comes to lines and strokes and stuff. But right here, Command J, it's been in here for, I've been using it for like 20 years, but we can go ahead and connect those lines. So now we have a solid white kind of going all the way around if we want that, right? So that's all I'm doing right there. Cool, let's move on. Move that down, move that down. Take a look at this, same process. Let's bring this in. I probably want to kind of maybe cut that so it doesn't frame her face too much, but that's okay. I'm going to just try to do this as fast as I can and try to make it look as good as I can in a short amount of time. Let me know if you have questions. Yeah. I have plenty of tips for you, but this is like me just like creating artwork. So I think it's good to kind of jump in and just watch somebody create artwork, essentially, is all I'm doing. Right in here, we can control the thickness as well. So we could have this, we'd use these width profiles all day long, right? We can go like that and have it make it thick and thin, right? Like we see there. Or we could even use right over here, the width tool. So you have a tool that does that as well. Selecting the width tool, going to that line right in here, and now I can make it maybe thicker there and then thinner down here, right? Controlling its thickness based on whatever part that I want, right? So I get those nice elegant curves is what I'm going for. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you're having a good day, everybody. Never even thought of that. Okay, I love the width tool, love it. By the way, with the width tool, you can come in, you can use the width tool, you know, add it, make it thick right there. You can grab one side and hold down the Option key, and you can kind of make that, say, one-sided, right? So it's only gonna have that width on one side of this line if I want to, right in here. The next question is, why is it round here? How can we get rid of this roundness? Well, again, that's right in here with the stroke. Sorry if that's hard to see, but we'll zoom in here and we'll change the cap. It's the butt cap, apparently. I had no idea it was called that, the butt cap. Let's giggle. Let's giggle about that, huh? But there we have it. We take that. Obviously, it's at a different angle. We adjust that Bezier if we want to, and we can connect it kind of like that, as you can see, like so. Cool. For this end, I'd make it sharp. So again, I would just grab my width tool and make it sharp on that end like that. But for the most part, I just end up using these width profiles because it's so much easier, honestly. I don't have to worry about, you know, creating my own width profiles, but it's there when I need it, which is pretty awesome, right? So we'll kind of do that. Her ear looks ridiculous. We'll refine that later. Actually needs some more points as well. But we'll just kind of bring that up and make it look a little bit more elegant. You know, so it's just not as big as her head, because currently that's kind of what's happening. All right, take this part and bring it up like that. All right, cool. Okay, we do the same thing for her whole head. Let me just jump in here. Let's add a few more points right in here really fast. Grabbing this, bringing it down. We need to add a nice little part to her hair. So P for pen, right? We don't need to go to like the add anchor point tool, right? We'll just roll over that line right over here. We want to add a point. Boom, we can add a point like I did right here, okay? So there's my intersecting point, right? I can add another one right here if I think I need it, right? We'll hit A for direct selection. We'll grab that, we'll move it up. Guess what? Shift C, if you're on a Mac, I think it works the same on the PC. Double click, or just click on it once actually, but that allows you to modify that anchor point like I'm doing right now. And that's the essentially right over here. Shift C, the anchor point tool. So those are the shortcuts you should be using as you get into Illustrator, right? Hit A again and jump in and move that like so as I start to play with this little part like that. All right, hello. Let's remove a point, A, right here. This part, I want to smooth this corner out just a little bit, okay? So right down here, you get this little control point, which will round that just ever so slightly and actually splits that into two. Because all I want is just kind of like a soft little curve right there. And I could play with that more, make that as drastic or as subtle as I want. But again, I have that sort of control. Maybe I'll remove that point. Less is always going to be more. As we can see, like that, Command 0, boom, there we are. Let's move on to even the final, actually. I don't know if you guys want to see the final that I was working on. Let me see. Cool, let's move on to this. I need to get into more things. More stuff, right? Ultimately for this, I would add a background, right? Jumping in here, picking a nice blue, for instance. And I'll show you the problem that we'll have. As I draw this out, of course, it's, you notice all these other parts that are white that need to be joined as well. So again, that means just connecting these lines as well. So right in here, I would jump in, select this line, probably copy it, paste it, and I would actually have a new layer. By the way, this is how I do things. That's called our fill color for skin, right? That's what I'd call it. So I'd have my body lines, but then I'd have my fill color for the skin, right? Turning that off, zooming back out. I could use the pen tool the same way I use the pencil tool, come in, and let me actually turn on this again. Like that, we'll go up, like that, back down, over, Command A. Let's unlock, there we go, lock, all those lovely things, there it is, right, anchor point, and connect those two. Right there. So let me zoom in on that a little closer. In some cases, I might be able to use a join right in here, but it's not going to close a lot of these gaps if they're really thick, by the way, if there's a large distance, right? So again, it's just a matter of, again, even using the pencil, drawing that line and connecting them like that, okay? With that done, let's go ahead and flip that, make this white, and be well on our way for our lovely picture that we're working on, okay? So that's what we're going for. This is kind of where it ended up, right? Just so you know. What happens in here? A lot of the stuff that we've just already learned for these strokes. Well, hey, let's take these hair strands, right? And you can see these hair strands are done with that width profile, if not the width tool, to come in and add just like a nice highlight right there. Like I did in this case, right? So that's what I'm going for here. I think it's like simple enough. I don't know if there's a lot. I don't know if it actually looks better with her hair, with those hair strands or without it. But that's the short of what I was doing for this particular piece, right? And again, I think your goal as you mature as a designer is to use less effects. You really start editing is what it comes down, at least for me. Because again, a lot of times I'll go overboard with things and then I got to scale it back. And it's like turning off a layer. Does it look better this way or without it? Are these strands too strong? Is it too much of a highlight, right? Well, we can go in and select one of those and then we could do a select the same right over here. Zoop. Select the same stroke color. Bam, there it is. It'll select that same stroke color or stroke width, and then I can change the color because maybe it needs to be just like a little bit darker. So let's just go with the gray, and that helps out actually a lot more. Would you agree, Dan? Yes, Dan is on the same page. I looked over, I saw Dan Flores is like, hey, it looks good, but you need to tone it down, Paul. Chill it out a little bit, right? Another thing you could do in these cases, right, is come in and what I'd also try is if you want some uniformity with some of these, you could take this strand, you could take, draw another one as well. Here's another line. And then you could potentially, if you want big, fun curls, you can use the blend tool. So I can select both of these, come over here. Here's the blend tool off to the side. Again, it's been in Illustrator since Illustrator 88. Believe it or not, trust me, I have it on my laptop. Click right there, and we've just done a blend of 3. But this gives us control as we go in here. We can say, hey, you know what? Specified steps of 4. Right, now I can grab this, come in here, grab this one, for instance, right? And move this out in this case, like I'm doing right now, right? And this could be what I could do for her, for part of her hair, if I wanted to give it more like a volume, if you will. Okay, yeah, I agree. Better, less is more in this case. Can we all agree? Less is more. Less is a good thing. That's why I'm glad we all agree. We could take these, like Dan said, you can even play with the opacity. I just made it gray, but I think it's just like a little bit more subtle. And typically what you do with hair is you block it out. So you do it based on the highlights rather than strands. You don't draw, you're drawing like blocks, like shapes, as opposed to like the actual hair. So the hair is something I'll work on. I'll get more into that later, but I wanted to kind of talk about, you know, working and mastering lines and strokes and stuff like that. Jamie from Dubai, awesome. I'm glad you tuned in as well, Miranda. So that's it for this. I could play with this some more, but I think it's at a good place. And I guess I'll post it on social media when I'm done. So as I work on the hair some more, I'll post to social media. And I want to thank you guys just for hanging out with me as I get this all squared away. And again, I would talk about blocking. That might take a little bit longer, but I guess I'll just end with real quick the blob brush, because if I did do any blocking, I would come in, I'd use the blob brush tool right over here. There it is, blob brush, bam, there it is. And then it's just like adding a highlight right up here, right? And then giving it shape, right? So what did I just do? I created this shape right here, right? I'd want to actually make this look a little bit more smooth. I'd go into Object Path. This is brand new, by the way, right in here, Simplify. Click right there. You get this little HUD, if you will, this like heads-up display just pops up right on the object, and then you can make it remove a lot of the points or add more points, and the auto will actually put it kind of right in this area is my experience. But you can give it like less points, because in this case I want less points so I can control it a little easier. And then you don't have to hit OK or anything, because a lot of people will hit OK and it will bring up a different dialogue. Just it's done, right? So then you go in, you use your selection tool, you add your highlights where you need to, right? Anyways, I have 1,000 other tips, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not even saying this is the right approach right now. But trust me, I will try things. It'll get uglier before it gets better. But now you know how I'd probably do the blocking if I do that. So, all right. Yes, Blob Brush is just like drawing. Guess what? Blob Brush is in Illustrator on the iPad, which is not released yet, but I'm super excited about it. And I'm just happy you guys joined me today. Yeah, you could probably DM me or whatever. I don't know, you can send me a message. Also send me a message on all the social medias as well. And I will be happy to get to any of your questions. If you have any, that would be great. I would appreciate to and would like to keep the conversation going, right? So there we are. There's Big Paul, me and an Illustrator and character animator, but that's my social media, so we could talk. All right. Thank you, Francisco and everybody. I'm gonna let you go and be respectful of your time. Be safe, everybody. Really appreciate you. Give somebody a virtual hug. Tell them their hair looks good, even though it looks kind of stringy like hers. But thanks so much, everybody. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you.